fits in it all.
How do you
right.
not realize that you're buying a child-sized chair?
I don't want to question it anymore.
Aren't they like
with
this
these
big
guys.
in the package in general?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Very. So,
Is this a chair for ants?
I should have said that. That would have been funny. But he committed to it so hard that, as Sheldon does, fell asleep in it.
Of course. Did he pee in it also?
No, he doesn't pee when he sleeps. I don't think. But we were able to get him up and into the tent, which was nice. So then then he was screaming in his sleep.
Oh.
Yeah, except for we didn't hear him because we were in the car.
Yeah.
Which I'll love to tell it. Are we recording? I would love to tell everybody about that. But we didn't hear it, but Britta was like, Oz, for sure a bear came. And I was just gonna let you.
He was just like, yep, no, well, take one, leave
Not
the rest.
at my tent, so
someone had to be the martyr.
And we realized in the morning that we left the trash bag outside all night, like with food and stuff.
Thankfully, you weren't in like super bear country.
No, but we were in it definitely where we had to be. Okay, so when I turn this way, it gets messed up. So I'm going to.
What's up, everyone?
Hey, how's it going? How's it going?
Hey.
It's nice to see your faces.
Welcome back. We're two
rambling
sisters.
I am a host, Michaela.
And I'm the other host, Ashley. And we're happy to be back here for another day.
I'm happy to be back here.
Another new week. I actually already see Zero just made a surprise appearance.
You guys, if you didn't know, that's not real brick.
Magic. It fixed itself.
He just straight up Diagon Alley'd his way back there.
He's magic. Wow. Zero's magic. He actually seriously is a really old wizard anyways, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was a skill of his.
He would be a really old
He
wizard.
is like, where is he? Can you see just his paws underneath there or anything?
No, he's back by the AC.
He's like,
which if you guys hear, I'm not turning it off.
Weather update for the...
It's hot!
Yeah,
it's hot! Family Guy?
I don't know.
How's the weather looking out there? It's hot!
Is it like the, second, third day of this? In my team chatter today, the post picture was shared. Someone took a thermometer and temped their sidewalk, and it was 102 degrees. And I was like, oh.
Friendly reminder, walk your pets on the grass.
Yeah, he sprayed it. He's like, I sprayed it down before I let my dogs out because I felt so bad. And I was like, good job. Good job.
Good.
So, yeah, it's extremely hot. And we record upstairs. And though we have central air in the house, I don't know if any of you know anything about old Minnesota houses
or science, because
it's just like nothing works to get it up here. So window unit behind the magic brick wall, and
knocks over the lamp.
I would be so mad because today was probably the first day where I had almost the majority of everything in place before Michaela showed up.
Yeah, and then we got it up in like 10 seconds.
And it's getting easier and easier because we're getting the right equipment. Slowly
but surely. Yeah, instead of really crappy vice grips, now we have clamps.
Hey. So, we might as well start with...
Let's start with what we're drinking.
Yeah, you poured it, so I'll have you show it because I don't know. I'm assuming it's a straw melon.
I was trying to get the light behind it. I did knock over the lamp. Yeah, it's a straw melon from Bad Habit.
Yeah, we've been on a Bad Habit binge lately, mostly because I bought... A lot of us within the past 3 weeks bought like 64 crawlers, so we're gonna be sipping on those for a while.
Support your local breweries.
Yes,
they're starting to open back up, so go support your local musicians
it
as well.
is it phase 3 here in Minnesota that we're on now of quarantine?
Which don't get me wrong, I'm still not gonna go out shopping or anything unless I really need to, but it is nice to sit on a patio.
I really haven't. I still have only gone to Target like twice since
straw melon
since like all of
strawberry watermelon, you guys. Yes. By the way, it's really good.
Super good. It's a sour. Yep. That's worth saying. They have that Jolly Melon, which is their watermelon sour. This is a perfect play on that.
We had some McDonald's ice cream prior, so
chocolate shake. Whoop, whoop.
McFlurry.
It was so good. Yeah, so
lost my audio again.
Beers that we're drinking.
That's our beers.
Like we were saying, so it's phase 3 of quarantine. Now, things are probably going to start getting riled up here real quick. So should we wait? Should we talk about what we've been doing for ourselves?
maybe.
Because I do want to talk a little bit about quarantine,
Well, I've
about
got a
Rona.
lot to talk about what happened to me this week.
Yeah,
So my segment's gonna be a lot
everything's
about me.
going to get really blurred here, but we are going to try and toss in some good uses of educational information in here. So let's start with, I think, what we've been doing for ourselves, because what's been happening and what's been entertaining us are going to get escalated.
Well, okay. Well, I'll start because it's already escalated.
We'll start with, what you've been doing for yourself. Try not to talk about the incident yet. And maybe just say,
I'm just going to say, don't tell me how to talk about what I'm doing.
I know.
You can talk about what you're doing, but only if
I don't want you to not get a chance to talk about it, because we get.
I'm gonna get a chance to talk about it. I'm just gonna put this pretty straightforward. I would hope everybody else is doing a similar thing. What I have been doing for myself this week is not letting things slide. So when I'm online or in person and something happens that is not okay, I'm not letting myself ignore it anymore. And although I know that there's a lot of people out there who would go, how is that helping your mental health? Because I'm not sitting here fuming constantly. And the way that I'm retaliating and reacting is educational, minus a few hiccups. It is good information, and I am making sure that I am not tolerating or letting the small things slide anymore.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said about like the uncomfortability, and that is also a very huge learning and growth process, right? Like
something I want to talk about in a little bit here is how to really take yourself and make sure that you're keeping yourself healthy while still educating everyone else, because it's really easy to get trapped and get emotional and riled up.
And along with that, we've been talking about consistently, and we talk about it in our friend group. I talk about it at work with my coworkers. Like, it's okay to not be okay right now. I cannot preach that enough. And you may be doing everything you would normally do, and you may be taking the same advice that you would give your best friend or a loved one on how to handle that kind of mental angst and instability, and it could still just not be enough, and that's okay. Because I think for a lot of us, especially those of us who may be going through like an awakening right now, to say the
least.
Yeah, like, this is not comfortable, this will not be easy, and this is not something a lot of us are used to. And so
for anybody tuning in outside of the current timeline, we're in the middle of a civil rights movement.
Yeah, absolutely. We pointed out in an earlier episode, we are located in Minnesota, so
I am so proud of you, Minneapolis, for not being quiet.
Yeah, and
thank you.
Seriously, I think it's important to say that protests are still happening, community gatherings are still happening. I'm going to talk later.
Donation drives are all over right now.
We're so fortunate to know so many wonderful people who are running some of these activities down in the city, so I will hit on those later. But again, I think, especially like we talked about last week, in this time, use it as an opportunity to maybe give back, because if you can't feel okay in your own way, I promise you, especially when you feel so hopeless, like, how can I help? Or my voice doesn't matter, my time doesn't matter, like, honestly, your money matters, okay? And
also, just to interrupt a little bit on that, remember that if you're feeling that way, you don't have to just be you doing it. There are groups that will help you, and you will make a change when it is more than one of you. You will make a change by yourself.
And there's lots of ways too where, like, okay, like, I get it. There are so many people out there right now who are feeling so helpless because they don't have the money to donate, but they're extremely passionate. All you have to do is like do a Google on how to give back without money, and you'll see so many things from the YouTube playlist that's going around right now where all the ads go back.
I
downloaded all the songs.
Oh yes, also that, but I do have a side tangent on that. If you are the kind of person who is using things like the Lucky Scratch app or slots where you have to watch ads to win tokens to get games or to win prizes, if you are not taking your time and playing that YouTube video in the background to generate ad money, you fucking suck.
Yeah. Seriously, it's super easy to do it. And the stuff they play is both inspirational and
educational.
amazing.
It's so beautiful.
Like, okay.
Just do yourself a favor, and if you know enough, send it to everyone you can.
you know, it's right now the huge thing is like, don't let your social media feed go back to normal, because this is not something we can let go back to normal. And so I think that's, and I think too, like,
and not to incite hate or anything like that, but do not go back to being polite to racists.
And we can't, I keep wondering, like, should we be talking about something different? Should we be trying to?
But then we're gonna look back on this time.
Yeah, I can't not address what's happening and discuss it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I have so much to say. We haven't really talked all day, which is crazy. But I did see it. Social media has its goods and its bads, of course. But I saw one that was like, oh crap! See, now it was super important.
Okay, let's come if we can come back to it, because we are talking about what we've been doing for ourselves. So
yeah,
you've been taking a stand, and you've been not sitting quiet, which is a huge growth opportunity because it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's big for me. As for actual, like, just what I've been doing for myself in general, I painted my toenails yesterday.
Yay!
Yeah. I can't afford, but I can't justify going to get like a 3-hour pedicure like I really want. So I painted my own toes for days.
I'm the opposite. I went and treated myself.
No, I can justify it. I'm saying in my personal financial situation now, today, I couldn't justify
Can't do it.
I actually went on food delivery things like 3 times today, and then just put it away and made my own food because
I don't even care about the actual toenail polish, but I need the soak and the scrub.
You got to come at me with like
the sugar scrub is where it's at.
A sandblaster for like sealing. That's what you need on my feet.
Literally was like, I need to go get a pumice stone, which would be great.
Or as I called it, a hummus stone.
Yeah, hummus
stone.
Time. That's so funny. Oh, that would be so gross.
Yeah, but I bet your feet would be really soft, and especially if there was an exfoliant in it. I have a new solution. Okay, Ashley, what have you been doing for yourself?
So I talked to you a little bit about
Carefully with your beer.
It's okay. I promise it's okay. You can't
see my stuff up here.
I talked about it a little bit earlier with you off screen, but I have started journaling again.
That's good.
Which is something that I did a lot as a child, and then it got ruined when I found out that my journal was being read, and not by my sister, which it's different when if it's like, even
I felt icky. I found it once.
Yeah, like even
because in between your mattresses, where else would it be? But it was that's your stuff.
Like I was never trying to hide it. No. That's just like for me, it's like a out of sight, out of mind. I only take it out when I'm gonna write in it.
Well, and listen, we grew up with a really nosy grandmother.
Yeah, and so I think when I found out someone was, and then that was being used as a tool against me, then I was like, and it's not like I was doing bad things.
No, but when I
was getting punished for like, how could you feel like that, or like why would you write like that? Like what?
Yeah. What do you mean?
What? So
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even our parents. Because our parents were 100% like, yeah, do whatever you need to do. But I'm sorry. I once found a note that I had torn up. It was taken out of my trash can and pieced back together on my bed because, I didn't know if you still wanted it.
Like, what? Yeah.
So I'm sorry about your notes, but I'm glad you're journaling.
Especially as a kid, that's something that's like, how could I ever, unless I'm going to start, hiding it somewhere where no one's ever going to see it. Then we got technology. So then I was like writing on my phone and stuff and hiding. So, but journaling again, which has been good. It's a good outlet, especially when, and I know it's not true because no one's ever burdened, but there are times where like solutions don't come within a day, within a week, and so you're still angry about the same thing
that you've been already talking about for a long time.
And it's just like, I'm not going to come to you and be like, I am still angry.
In case you were wondering
about this. So journaling is good because it still gives you an outlet.
If you guys could donate to our Patreon so I can get a new mic stand, that'd be nice.
So Miguel doesn't freak out.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
With that,
also,
I also got a new hair gig. You can't see.
I got my South Park smile for you.
Yeah, it's all shaved over here, and
it does look really nice. That's a clean shave.
Yeah, she crushed it. Sheer Dynamics, Rebecca, if any of you are wondering. Seriously, I have this thing. I know you can't tell because both mine and Mikhail's hair is different colored right now, but our hair is extremely thick and healthy, and when you lighten it, it only lightens orange.
Yeah.
So I have been working with a multitude of stylists for years, which is embarrassing. Like, I started going this color when we went to Elton John 2 years ago.
I did this in 1 week by myself.
Yeah, and
you did? Oh my gosh.
yeah, and so
That was a long time.
everyone's been so delicate, which I understand, because when you pay money to go to a stylist, you pay for your hair to come out healthy.
Yeah,
still.
but when your hair's that short,
And I'm like,
everything's
yo,
gonna get cut every time.
I kept
Yours
saying
will
to people,
get
I'm like,
lower.
I promise you that my hair will take it just fine. But this last time I went in,
Burn my
this
scalp.
last time I went in, and I was like, here's the deal. I want you to get it as light and as white as you can possibly make it. And she's like, oh, we can do that. And
they just need the permission.
yeah,
basically.
and she did, and that's how her hair is colored right now too. And you can tell that she has dark brunette hair to begin with, so it was super perfect. And yeah, the toner like crushed it. And she's like, I know you can't tell right now when we washed it out. She's like, but I promise when it dries.
Oh, because they can't blow dry or anything right now.
No, yeah, they got to blow dry and everything.
Oh, they couldn't blow dry my friend's hair. I talked to her yesterday.
What?
Yeah, they could blow dry or do any straighteners or styling or anything like that.
What, did she wear a mask? Did she have to wear a mask?
I'm not sure, to be totally honest with you. It's actually Benny's girlfriend or wife that's the hairstylist.
Weird, because we all got to wear masks. They did have us, like, they have everyone spaced out for if you had to be at like getting your hair washed, or if you're sitting under the heat dryer.
Social distancing.
Yep, you're all still distant, and then they were only letting so many people at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, no, we had no problem. We crushed it. Usually I'm in there for like 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
We were done within an hour and a half. And
yeah.
She foiled my hair so fast, but I was like, listen, buzz as much off as you can first.
And then color.
Yeah. And then when she thinned it, because I was like, okay, she's like, anything else to in the first one we're talking to her, I'm like, I need you to thin it because it just grows back, and it only grows back in this strip.
Oh, I have the worst
super thick. And so when she was thinning it, she took off just as much hair as when she had shaved the bottom of my head. She couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm not joking. It's like shedding a husky. The other day, a piece of the blonde fell out, and it was so thick that I could barely like snap it in half. I was like, damn, my hair is.
Yeah, that is
even
nice,
after being torched, it's healthy. So that's what I did. Then I think we both should talk about camping. Because last week...
You guys remember last year around this time when I came back and told you about camping?
Last week, we said that both of us were going on a separate camping trip with separate peeps, and we were going to tell you how it went because that's part of what we were doing.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
I'll go. Okay, I'll go. I'm going to be real nice because I know some of you listen, so it's fine. Okay. So first of all, I was quite aware that it was going to be not my trip, right? There were 6 of us, 5 bikers biking 40 miles one way. Cyclers, cycling 40 miles one way, 40 miles back.
Sounds like a Dr. Seuss.
One fell off and bumped his head. So Sheldon did fall off and bump his head. Yeah, sorry, buddy. So anyway, I was a support driver. So basically we packed my boyfriend's car up, and I drove and made a bunch of pit stops and stuff like that. And it was really all good. It was all good. The camping stuff was fun. We went out into a state forest, and we did like clear our own space and everything. But lo and behold, babe forgot the chairs and the tents. So
it's like such a
I didn't have any chairs or a grill, so we didn't have a grill.
Rookie.
Also, I was assured at the beginning of the planning stage that I would be staying in a cabin by myself with my dog for several hours alone, which is why I was excited because I like my alone time quite a bit. I had some homework to do. I won't get too far into it because I'm over it. But long story short, I did not get my homework done. There were ticks everywhere. I like the outdoors. And when people come up to me and say things like, see, you did it, it makes me mad because I'm like, listen here, I grew up outdoors.
Literally in the boondocks.
Yes, just because I have only pitched and slept in somebody else's tent one time does not mean that I haven't pitched a tent, that I haven't lit a fire, that I haven't caught my own fish. Just because my hair is blue doesn't mean that I don't know how to do things. So then I get stuck with these 5 other cyclers, and I'm not a cycler, so now I look like a fatty fat.
Not a fatty fat.
I know I'm not, But when I'm cranky and on the road and my dog's with me and I'm like, everybody's having a good time out there and I'm in this car and there's no GPS anywhere because you're on a trail and I don't know how to drive and I'm already the most. All right, I said I wasn't going to get upset, but so anyway, I did have a really good time camping, but I did have to sleep in the back of a car. So,
which is
not camping.
But it got cold as fudge.
It wasn't that bad. Tidbit for all of you guys. Jeff, get after it. Perimeter spray for the bugs was
Wish
a really
I would
good
have known about that.
And then we went and, the boys went and got like I call it a new age scythe. And it's like a double-sided spiky rake. And we whipped the area out for us because, I mean, there were like hives of ticks out. But that was everybody this last weekend. They were like, the bugs were nuts. What else for camping was really fun? That morning, Winnie and I got up, and everybody was like, we're early risers. And I was up at 6 o'clock, and ain't nobody got up till like 10.
Liars.
And I was like, liars. So I'm up, slept in the back of the car. It was uncomfortable. I took Winnie on a 3-mile hike by myself. I brought a knife and stuff, But I ended up finding entrance to some water, and we were able to go sit down, and I saw 6 hawks soar together in whatever you call a group of hawks. And it was super duper majestic, and that was the best part of my weekend.
I don't even think hawks fly together. But
that's why I felt it, because I looked up and I was like, one hawk. And then I got a little nervous because I was like, birds of prey will take my dog because she's a Morkie. And it's a real thing. People always laugh at me, but it's a real thing. So whatever, yeah, like 6 of them, and they were like super. And then they started circling and walking with me, and I was like, picked up my dog. I was like, no, I'm just kidding. Get save the dog. Yeah. Save the dog. Okay, so how was your camping? I would like to tell everyone that I do really love camping. I'm not a crank. Don't promise me things that you won't deliver on.
I just expect a decent situation.
Well, or I expect to know that I won't have a decent situation, right? I'm okay with figuring out things if I don't have them, but just don't start off with the extravagance. Surprise me with the extravagance.
Yeah.
Let me think I'm gonna do something shitty. So when it's shitty, I'm prepared. Yeah. But I was prepared. I had all the right clothes. I only got like 2 ticks on me.
Ooh. Well, I didn't get any ticks.
Congratulations.
Which was great. So our trip was good. We brought 2 of the dogs and we went all the way up to Chippewa National, and we actually stopped.
Oh yeah, we were in the Foothills State Forest.
Yeah, yeah. So we went up to Chippewa National, and we actually had stopped first on this little lake called 6 Mile Lake, and that had free campsites. But the campsite we were on was not only extremely buggy, but it wasn't close to the water. And once you did get down to the water, it was just super like
boggy and
stuff. And I knew if we stayed there, the dogs would be down there the entire time. They would 100% get chiggers. And I was like,
what?
Chiggers?
What's that?
It's like water fleas.
Ew.
Yeah, it's not great. And it makes you look like you have a rash, but
my
it's
dog
just
got
bites.
fleas once, and it was the worst.
Yeah.
Fleas are the worst.
Not good. So
Chiggers?
Chiggers. CHI.
I was like a shrugger?
No, no, chiggers. So we didn't like unpack or anything, but we left that spot. We drove another hour north and ended up in South Deer Lake.
Most people go like down the campsite a little to look for a new spot.
No. We went
hour.
Well, because that was free camping. So
that's right.
Then the next spot would have been like, we had the option to do what you did, was like drive into a state forest, but we're like, well, we're gonna go check it out. Like, we didn't care if we had to pay, especially for in a state forest.
Yeah.
And we ended up finding a spot at South Deer Lake, and it was gorgeous, but it got so fudging cold. And so here's the deal. Both Pat and I, outdoors people, no questions asked on whether or not we can handle a cold night, et cetera, et cetera. Turns out what we didn't plan for was that the dogs were going to be bitches. So our dogs are and they're like black labs.
Cold.
It is 46 degrees outside. They have been in that, like, Petey sleeps outside when it's 10 degrees in the snow.
I know.
And so I get up at one point in the night, and I look, and like Petey is obviously all curled up by Pat, and I go to the restroom, and I come back, and I go to crawl back in the on the air mattress, and Gretchen starts like whining. I'm like, Gretchen, what's up? So I like flip my blankets up. She comes and crawls under there. I'm like,
Oh,
she was fine. We had told her to come up on the bed in the beginning,
I told her.
and she was like, no. And so we had a whole
It's a dog.
sleeping bag for her, plus another like fluffy blanket,
Yeah.
and she made a nest for herself.
Yeah, I'm sure she's fine.
Yeah, and she
They
was,
probably were confused because
she totally was like, she hated the tent. She didn't understand like why she couldn't get out. I tried
Yeah.
to open the flap so you could see out, but there was still the mesh, and she tried to like bust out of that, and I was like, no.
Winnie was great. She slept. When she
There-
wasn't sleeping, she was just sitting.
Totally, Gretchen's way too high strung for camping, and Petey would be good, but because he was with Gretchen, they were psycho. We tried to go for a hike, and there's no way that was happening. The thing about like hiking with those two, especially in the campground where there are plenty of other people, is like everyone else has their dog on a leash, so you very much should have your dog on a leash also.
Yes.
And Petey is just such a boss where he's like, I don't do leashes, and so we were just like, whatever. So now we know we can camp, but we can't camp with
Gretchen.
Yeah. But besides that, we made a bomb breakfast. We got to see some beautiful scenery. And I made so many s'mores that I got a tummy ache.
I didn't make any.
And I used my
s'mores.
hammock,
Oh, well
which
done.
was great. Yeah, it was super good.
I peed in the woods.
Proud of you.
I'll pee in the woods any day.
Yeah, that's
I don't
not
care.
unusual. All right. Should we dive into all the crazy stuff that's been happening?
Yeah, give me like a sec here.
Yep.
So,
This next segment is going to be called What Ticked Me Off on Social Media Today.
yeah, and that leads me right into all these noises I'm gonna make with my microphone. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, but it's just so I don't keep touching it all the time for you guys, because I know that's got to be a little frustrating. People have been getting really off-put with me lately because I've been saying things like,
You're a racist?
yeah, like literally, like I will just be talking and I'm like, you know who does that? Racist. And then they're like,
Seriously.
and it's like, here's the deal. Here's the start to what's been pissing me off on social media. I don't care anymore. If you're offended because I called you a racist, then you're probably racist and you should be offended.
All the time. My huge thing lately has been like, if you come back at me with a but, comma, I am going to destroy you with more facts and information than you will
I said
be able
something
to handle.
racist. Now I must be a
Yeah,
racist.
that is
It's
like
crazy.
That's my favorite meme that's going around. It's like, what, just because I'm a racist, now I'm a
Yeah.
racist?
Yes. And
Like,
again,
yeah,
I will
that's
stand this
it.
way for everything. Oh, I said a sexist comment. Now I'm a sexual predator. 100%.
And
Fuck you.
I would like to point out that there
You
is
can learn.
Yeah,
Sorry.
there
I'm
is
sorry.
so much
But allow us to teach you
Right,
then.
or,
do not come back
like,
and tell
I don't,
me.
and again, I don't want to say that I have never said anything.
All right. I also want to talk a little bit after this, though.
Okay, wait, because we just cut out because
I know.
the computer is dying. So what were we talking about? Oh,
We're going to start our social, what makes us angry.
yeah, but what I wanted to point out
I was like,
why we're angry and about that is that I myself, and I know plenty of other people, have said things, and we have to be educated, and then you change your mind. Okay, that's how it works.
but don't fight the people who
Yes.
are trying to teach you.
Yes.
Please stop fighting those people.
Yeah. And that's where I'm saying, if you come back at me with a but after I've already given you information as to why said thing is wrong, and this is happening everywhere.
Okay. Yes, it really is. We are struggling with a situation currently where rather than somebody saying, you're right, maybe this was offensive after we told them they were being offensive, they came at me with something along the lines of, your generation will never seem to understand.
Is it because we're white that we don't get to say that that's offensive either? I think we'll talk about
Yeah,
it too,
are
because
you-
it's a huge thing in the news.
Like,
So,
had an African-American person or any person of color commented what we commented on that individual's post, would they have responded the same way to that person?
yeah, is it like,
Or
okay,
would you have been
so
accepting of
if
it?
you guys haven't heard, Aunt Jemima
They will be
Syrup
changing their
is
logo and
looking
their brand name.
into rebranding and changing
as
their
they
logo.
should.
After, and then here's what I want, here's what that too. Okay, a company like that does not just there is so much fucking work that goes into rebranding. Like, we know how much work goes into rebranding.
Well, and I'd like to point out
And-
that they're doing it by choice. They were like,
No, it's okay. Here's the
yeah,
deal.
sorry, you go.
Yeah. It has been a fight for a long time, just like it still is a fight to get the Redskins under a different name, because what the fuck? And okay, so it's already been an issue, but it keeps getting swept under the rug because, to quote, well, when I look at it, it's just syrup. Okay, that's one of the issues, is that when you look at it, it's just syrup, but that's not it. The problem is that whole character and the basis of it and where it came from is very much rooted in a racist
When it is
system.
not a black-owned company
And
either.
The whole thing is like, if you do your research, which I will happily provide you the article that I provided to the same person, is that the name Aunt Jemima comes from a play that was done by a bunch of white people in blackface to depict a certain era of time and how they should have been acting. Then the name, then further that, it got turned into a song based off this play, and the whole thing is it was a song that these white people dressed in blackface would sing, portraying slaves in their thing. Okay, so that's where it comes from. So when you know the history of it, that's very much racist, because the people who did this were fucking white. So it started out that they already had a lady who was, she like launched it. So she was whoever sold their syrup. Well, it didn't work. So they decided to rebrand, and then they hired this actress who did go on to portray Aunt Jemima.
As she was paid to do
As
so.
she was paid to do so, and they kept her on the payroll until she died, and that was amazing. But the thing is that she was only painted on their original like mix for pancake mix, and then they redesigned her again when they did the syrup bottles, and none of it was actually after the lady who portrayed this person. Like, it wasn't like there was,
They took a stereotypical name and put a
Yeah,
stereotypical
and then they
image
put a
associated with
person
it.
to it instead of vice versa. And that's where the wrongness is that you thought you white people could sell your syrup under a name Aunt Jemima
Hoping.
and get it to sell later
Yes.
because it would be that good Southern syrup.
Yep.
Like, do not tell me, and then to think it's funny that we're changing it, right?
That's where I would like to chime in.
I think it's funny that people were offended by it.
Yes.
That black people were offended by the fact that we've been portraying this character. And like, let's go on to talk about the fact that Aunt Jemima then becomes a slang term that is continuously used.
I was called once. I wore a brown shirt and a red bandana around, and somebody said to me, "What are you, Aunt Jemima?"
That's exactly what I'm saying. So that is 100% what that turns into.
But here's where I would like to chime in. That was all done in an age where, no, it was still not okay. But my end point here, without even getting into what was happening before, is that we are no longer in the day and age where it is acceptable, nor should it have ever been. But we are now responsible for making sure that it is unacceptable that we portray anybody in a way that they don't want to be portrayed.
Well, and
so then we have people who come in and they say things like, "Oh, I really didn't think it would hurt so many people's feelings." Okay, you didn't think it would,
because it didn't hurt your feelings,
but it obviously did. So now we have you saying, "Okay, I didn't think." Okay, but it is
right.
But now you're telling me I'm wrong, and that actually it's my fault for being too sensitive about a situation that needs to be sensitive about.
And it's like a corporation like that does not change something that drastic because of the reasons they do it, because they either got so much backlash, or
that's
because
what I was
they
getting
know it's
to before.
The right thing to do.
They're doing it because they know, well, one, they got so much backlash, but also they know, they said, "You're right, it is time for us to change." There's no reason for you to have that image on your thing. There's no reason to be called the Redskins. People have asked you to stop. If a woman asks you to stop touching her, you stop. If a man asks you to stop touching him, you stop. If someone asks you to stop yelling at your kid, they stop. When someone asks you to stop, you don't get to say no.
Well, white people don't get to define racism.
I'm just saying, nobody gets to say no. If something is hurting someone, if something is offending someone of any anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't get to say no.
Especially because there are like,
What doesn't offend me, so why would it offend you?
like, I don't understand if the tables were turned and you were put in a situation where something completely
I
personal,
really
like,
love that lady. I would like every white person in here who would like to be treated how a black person is treated today to stand up. And in her lecture hall, not a single person
yeah,
stood.
and it's like, you know that that's what's wrong. And again, in a time of quarantine, and especially in a time like this, there is so much literature and videos and
If that's not what
documentaries
you're doing right
made
now,
available to
yeah.
you so you can continue to learn. I am 100% an advocate for you building your own opinions based on, but you need to look at all sources. I swear to God,
I also am still
if
learning.
I keep fucking seeing this clickbait too, right? Okay, so if I click on an article and it only lets me read 2
Blips.
sentences before it tells me I have to download an app or sign up, I fucking know you didn't do that either, okay? So that means that you just clicked that
You
article
read a headline.
and you shared it and you didn't even read the context in it, which means like you have no fucking idea
Yeah.
what you're putting out there, and you're riling people up, and it's so frustrating.
To that point, for all you idiots,
I am
the
just-
idiocracy around the clickbait is what I'm saying. To prove our point, the other day somebody put out, hey, you know, no, this is mine. You put yours
Oh.
over there. Yep. Just trying to take my beer, but it's cool. Hers
By
has
the
more
bitch.
anyway. The one that was like, hey, for everybody who wants to like pre-register to vote for Trump next year, click here or something. And it pulls a list of Trump supporters that you can
No, it
unfriend or
says-
something.
It says
Whoa.
if you're looking for a list of people to unfriend.
Yeah, click here
Click
and you
here,
open
that's-
it and it's anybody who's liked Trump in the past.
Yeah.
I want to start doing clickbait that is just headlines that are going to rile people up, and then you open it and it's a whole bunch of education on civil rights.
Well, and I
Read that.
I just don't understand. Like, you had the time, or maybe that's it, right? People think we're in this like quick information
People are
digestion
offended
era.
that you're telling them that they're wrong too, so they get defensive.
Well, I'm just wondering where this thing comes from, like sharing without reading. That's what confuses
Yeah.
me. Or I guess because of my drive, like in the last episode when I talked about being a journalist, right? That drive to like
For
keep asking
information.
questions. I'm always like, that's not enough. I should look up more and more and more. And it's not until I've looked up 25 different articles and watched 3 different documentaries
That you're ready to speak on it.
that I'm ready to speak on it, because I at least feel like, and I always feel like I could speak to both sides. Like, if I needed to, I could become an asshole and I could probably defend from someone's other point of view, because I think that's the only way you can properly understand is
Me too.
if you're fully willing to learn why the other person may think that way. And we talked about that like, last week. I'm like, this stuff comes from, it starts in your childhood and what you learn that way. And like, for these children, oh my God, in that video that I shared today, and there's like that car full of white girls all yelling the N-word, and they're like 12.
Yeah.
And I'm like, your children know how to hate before they truly know what love is.
Or what they are themselves.
Like, how fucked up is that? Is that like, yeah, like they truly know, they're so disgusted and they know how to hate someone else so much
Well,
before
they
they
think
even
it's-
fucking
they
know.
think it's funny and
Their
popular.
boobs aren't even developed yet. Like, they barely had their first period and they're going around and like,
I mean, even more so, yeah, you can't even vote yet before they're even able to go out and have an opinion. You have trained your child
Yeah.
to hate.
right. And it's like, how do you, so
And how do you justify that? Again,
So, yeah,
where
like,
is it coming from?
obviously I'm going to get riled up when I see like, it's those little things. It's the things that you think are funny, or the things that you thought are okay, or like, well, that's how my grandpa always was, or that's just how I was like.
But when someone tells you that you were wrong, do not attack them. They are trying to help you.
At least when they tell you you're wrong with like proof, right?
I'm sorry,
Like,
that's what I
yeah.
should say. I'm
yeah.
talking about specifically in the instance of you putting out
'Cause
something
if someone
that is
tells me
ignorant and
I'm wrong
racist.
and I have fucking proof that
Yeah.
I'm right, then I'm gonna kill you.
Apologies in the
Yeah.
justified situation. Well, is there anything else you'd like to
Yeah,
talk about
well,
social
because
media?
I do. Yeah, I want to talk about social media, about what happened in St. Cloud here, because
Well, that's why I was going to talk about. That's why I.
okay, this is a great segue. So I'll start and then I'll let you finish, because you were
Ashley's not going to let me talk.
well, because I want to talk about how it started, like
Mhm.
with social media, and the fact that something spread super quickly and no one still knows where it started, but the initial story was that a cop shot and killed two teens.
Mhm.
And
Point blank
in St. Cloud, and that it was being hid. And I don't know, like I searched everywhere on Facebook and so I'm not sure. Like
so far, I've been unable to find a hospital visit or an incredible source information. However, I have seen an individual who says that and here we go with the telephone game, but I have seen it was a 2-chain thing. One individual said that.
Sorry.
I'm not.
Welcome to Zero.
You want to hear it?
Hold on, one sec. Let me calm him.
Zero. Come here.
Yeah. You want to say hi on camera?
What are you yelling at? What was I saying? So unfortunately, although it is a game of telephone, I did hear from one individual that he went down to the demonstrations to observe and figure out what was happening firsthand because of all the rumors being spread, and did speak to a lady who said she witnessed a teen get shot. Now, supposedly, it then but the story turned into it being a scuffle between an armed teenager. Regardless, he was armed in this story, and a police officer. What actually did happen, well, after that, is that an officer did get shot in the hand. However, there is no way for anybody to verify, and I will not make assumptions. I will not make assumptions. However, there's no way to verify how that shot happened.
Right.
And that's the most I'm going to insinuate, because I could have been a fucking 14th person from a sideline making a shot. I don't care.
But it turned into no reports.
Oh yeah,
anything.
So nobody quite knows what happened, but it spread, and it spread quick. So when we talk about negating your false information, here's why. 2 gas stations were completely trashed. A liquor store was looted. Somebody's tires were slashed, and my car was broken into.
Boom!
And they stole my laundry money. They left the title to my car on the front seat, and I'm poor.
Yeah. Listen, we can't even afford good mic stands. What
I
makes
had
you
to
think
switch
we have
to
fucking
holding
laundry
the
money?
microphone. So somebody broke in. They left something behind, and here's where I would like to touch back onto that. I am able to speak from both sides usually. I can see reasoning. I can see that every human behind a blue uniform is still a human. And I can see that there is still crime happening that is legitimate crime. And I'm having that fight with my boyfriend that morning. And I'm saying we need to make sure that no matter what, we don't group anybody into a grouping. And then he goes out to take my car to get breakfast. And he comes in and he says, hey, by any chance, did you go out last night and take everything out of your glove compartment box and just throw it all over your car? Because that's the way to tell someone, by the way.
Which I'm on the phone with you when I heard him say that. And I'm just like, oh. No.
That was the calmest way he could probably, without me being like, what? And then, of course, the first thing I do is go, my car! Thank gosh there was no damage or anything. My dumbass must have left it unlocked or something. But I'm not mad about the opportunist who took a chance and went around and jiggled car handles. I get that can happen. I get that would have happened anywhere. What was really uncool was when I then called the St. Cloud Police Department to tell them what happened.
The non-emergency line.
Yeah, I waited on hold for 10 minutes on a non-emergency line. Calmly, collectively said, my car has been broken into. Nothing is damaged. I didn't see that the change was gone yet, so I said nothing's been stolen. However, something's been left behind. The rest of my conversation was me being belittled for calling in and wasting time when there was no damage nor theft. They refused to take down my name, my address, my license plate number. They didn't ask where in the city I was. They didn't ask how long ago it happened or when I noticed it. I then proceeded with, I have actual evidence in my car of whomever was in here. And their exact reaction was, if there was anything left behind, just throw it away. Which it seems to me like, what if 1,300 other cars had been broken into that night and you could have just at least you didn't have to test it, you don't have to do shit, you don't even have to come get it. But the least you could have done was taken down my name, my address, and my license plate number and made a report, because turns out I looked later and several other people called about damage to their vehicles and tires getting slashed and et cetera, et cetera. And they could have had a pattern down. They could have caught the person who did it.
That's so fucked up because I remember when
My fucking laundry money.
Pat's truck got broken into at my old place, but they were already chasing the kids who were breaking
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
vehicles, and they caught him when he was at Pat's place already.
And I have a very awful not tendency. I don't like when people touch my shit. It makes me icky.
Again, like,
and they rifled everything inside out. But again, left the title to my car. You could have taken my whole car.
I understand. I get, like, I'm even still like, okay, I understand that nothing was stolen, nothing was broken.
So you don't have to come out.
And I understand that this isn't huge, but that's why you have a non-emergency line
to write a fucking report.
Again, like, I think what we took away from all this was that you felt so fucking uncomfortable still, and then you felt like, well, what kind of safety do I have because something did just happen to me?
Well, and as you all know,
because so many people were like, you need to call the cops.
Yeah,
and you were like,
like,
at first you're like, no, I'm not gonna call the cops because nothing was broken in, nothing was stolen.
And then
all
everybody
of us were like, no, you got to do it because they should file a report.
Which makes me think that the right thing to do would have been to file a report.
I have thought that was the right thing to do. I have
called the non-emergency line for less and had a report written down.
Yeah, that's why it was so. They took a report when it happened to Pat. So I don't know.
So I'm frustrated because as you guys all know, a few weeks ago, whatever, I had the instances with being approached outside my own apartment. The place where my car is parked is directly outside my apartment windows, and had my windows been open, I've broken into them myself before.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that, like,
it's just
I don't need to feel. I'm nervous now. Now I'm going to get alarmed.
Anyone's going to take the second step.
That was just an opportunist. Had he looked sideways and saw my windows were open, what was going to stop him from thinking, well, shit, I might as well check that out too? And again,
during the night of a huge protest where police were busy somewhere else
and wouldn't have been able to respond immediately. And again, I know there's going to be people out there no matter what who are going to be like, you're overreacting. Nothing was taken. Nothing was done. Somebody touched all my stuff outside a window that I was sleeping less than 10 feet away from. I don't feel safe anymore. I called authorities for help, and I'm not joking, you guys. It wasn't don't worry about it. It happened. Some stuff happened. We got some other reports. I got was anything taken? No. This was the tone. Well, you should damn count yourself lucky. I should count myself lucky. Thanks. Can't wait for it to happen again when they bust my windshield.
Yeah, that's like our friend who talked about when shit got stolen out of the garage at her apartment, and the cops' reply was, well, don't you have rental insurance? And then call your landlord. My fucking landlord.
That's what they told me to do
call
too.
The cops.
Yeah, call your landlord.
What do you mean? What are you for? What am I paying you for? Apparently to murder black people on the streets.
I had another friend who had called the non-emergency line for St. Cloud PD when her house was robbed.
Yeah, what the
fuck? When they came to the site and simply wrote things down, not even like they just were like address and stuff, not even like what was taken, I don't think. Their response to her was, why haven't you just moved? Right, because that's so fucking easy on my 12-month lease that I have to pay the remaining 18 months on because I re-signed it.
All right, well, why don't you just move to a place where they need more shittier
Why
cops?
don't you move that badge off your chest?
Yeah.
Fuck you. And you know what? Not everyone. Not fuck everyone, but each individual person who continues to make these decisions.
You know who you are.
Fuck you.
You're shitty. All right.
So my car got broken into.
That was really fucked up.
Oh, worse things could have happened, I guess. I could have got busted up.
So on a lighter note, let's talk about the community events that are happening. That's what we'll wrap this up with because we have been on for about an hour. Good job.
Hey, we're doing good. Yeah. Thanks for listening, you guys.
So I want to give a shout out, Big Jew Association, Callister.
Yeah.
She has partnered with some other really phenomenal community groups down in Minneapolis, and they're going to be hosting a Juneteenth event. I believe it's going to be at Cup Foods, or it's going to be in the surrounding area.
We will make an effort to get that posted on our stuff for you guys.
We'll make sure to share it on our Facebook.
Because we would like to acknowledge that a lot of you are local listeners, and we love and appreciate that so much.
And for those of you who don't know, Juneteenth, June 19th is the anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation, and the ending of slavery,
And I want everybody to take a second to reflect how not so long ago that was.
and the fact that it's not a national holiday, which is really fucked up because Columbus Day is, and he was a piece of shit.
There's also
So-
several other holidays that are completely unnecessary in accordance to this.
Fucking Valentine's Day. What the
Well, St. Valentine at least is something they're celebrating.
Christians. So
If you're a Christian, do whatever you want to do. But
if
listen,
you're a Christian, you better be fucking fighting the same movement.
listen, the Wiccans, we are out, and the Amish, they are out, and
Jesus
we've been
wasn't white.
fighting since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So
How the
Jesus was
fuck-
not white. That's my favorite. That is one of my favorite
Jesus.
things that he says. It's as silly as the fucking lie that Jesus was a white man born in the Middle East. Yeah.
Fucking dumb.
Use your goddamn brain if you're
Oh.
so smart for everything else, everyone.
Okay, back to the community events.
Yes, because let's all go
So,
support all community events.
I promise you that wherever you are located right now, there is 100% a foundation that you can donate to that either works for human rights, if you want to encompass the whole, or you can start boiling down to the Black Lives Matter
sign a petition.
movement, sign a petition. But what has been happening a lot in our area, especially because of the destruction that happened down in Minneapolis, has been a lot of food drives
and diaper
and diaper
drives.
drives. So our
Cover those
amazing
butts.
old coworker and friend Megan Sabian,
Yes.
she has her
Her holistic.
holistic wellness Northeast because she's
Yes.
in Minneapolis, right?
Yep.
I'm so sorry, Megan, if you're
If we got
listening.
that wrong, we're
I'm
gonna
gonna
fix it.
I'm
don't
gonna
worry.
share your Facebook page anyways with Calsters. She has been doing some amazing work with the diaper drop-offs, and so she's also had a lot of friends who were up here in St. Cloud with us, who have been running diapers down back and forth. So seriously, again, I said it in the beginning and I'll say it again, if you can do anything to try and console yourself, I really do recommend giving back to the community in some way or another, and not the shitty community, okay, like give back to who needs it right now. All
No,
right,
yeah.
it's
Just remember that when you're trying to console yourself
no shitty
as an
community.
ally,
Yeah.
remember
who
just
you're an
think-
ally for.
Yeah, think about how they feel right
Yeah.
now, and then just try. You guys, I'm sorry again. I'm not going to be polite anymore. Try harder. We need to try harder.
And it's totally okay to fail once, but you don't get to fail again after that. Not once someone has told you and told
educated
you
you.
why and educated you. And again, please take some of this quarantine time to educate yourself. There are like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Spotify, every single one of them are running POC playlists right now.
And they are viable sources.
And
You
they're-
need to use these places.
Like you need to watch some of these documentaries and like
People
okay,
keep going, I don't know how to find the truth. I don't know how to tell what's credible. Get
Watch
off
it.
the fucking internet.
watch it.
Yeah, get on
And,
this shit.
Like don't like outside of the political part of it, like please read a book written by not a white person, and please
my
watch
favorite
entertainment.
My favorite books
not by white
are
people.
usually any children's book about Harriet Tubman is always a really interesting story to read to your child, as there's a lot of talk of her travels and the constellations she saw and the
Mhm.
things she did. So it's educational, plus it helps to express the issues we have going on with race in the past and
Oh my
currently.
God.
So please make sure that when you're reading these children books, in addition to yourself, I will touch on this
And-
real quick. I was told the other day that we needed to be careful who we were trying to educate, because maybe they already knew and maybe they were already educated. Well, if you're already educated and you're still making statements that I feel like I need to educate you on,
You're racist.
then you're a racist and you're wrong. So on that note, I will tell all of my friends and my family members who are parents that when you read when you read your child or your niece or your nephew a book in the next week, can you try to make it educational on race?
And there are so many out there right now that are being made available for free.
Yes.
For learning. Honestly, check out your local museums, your state museum. They're all doing free virtual tours right
Talk
now.
to your kids about journalism, like we
Yo,
saw one of
yeah, like
our super great.
and there's gonna be hard
friends do.
questions, but a huge thing we can't not talk about the Elmo thing.
I will be submitting a separate Patreon / everybody else piece on how I feel about Tucker Carlson tonight.
Michaela hates this dude.
Oh,
The
listen
world
here.
Fucking, we won't, because
The
we've yelled a
world
lot.
doesn't, because somebody. Okay, well, I'll
But,
tone it down, but somebody doesn't.
Sesame Street, honestly, has always been wonderful at hitting the hard topics and delivering them in a way that are digestible for children.
Yes.
Use that as a tool. You are.
Yeah, maybe you need that little extra bit of help.
And, like, again, if you don't know the answer to a question, I promise you there's someone out here.
I feel so bad,
who
listeners.
does.
We know that you guys are all ready, but we're saying this for when you feel. Well, yeah, we don't know, but I would hope so. Mainly, I'm saying these things because I'm running often recently into the issue of it being my family and my friends. And I just want you guys to all know that we're all struggling with that right now. So as much as it just feels demeaning and it makes you feel like shit because you're like, God, I grew up with these people and I admired them and et cetera, et cetera.
Like, how could they think like
don't
that?
Don't let that trap you into thinking that they're right or that you can let it slide.
Yep. And find support in others like you. All right.
Show them the Elmo video. That was my point on that. If they need something kitted down a little bit for them, fine. But honestly, there is a video that I think that Ashley, you shared this morning, and I shared as well, that I think I would like to very much put on our podcast page. And if you guys listen and want to go on there, we'll make it shareable as well. If you don't understand everything at the very bottom line after watching this video of what's happened up to today's date, because people think it wasn't a thing in between the civil rights movement of what year to today's date. They thought, oh, it just escalated. It's been going on in between there this entire time. So take the time to figure out what's been going on and how you can help to fix it. I don't know how I can preach that enough.
No doubt.
And don't feel bad for telling people off anymore, you guys.
No, and hit us up with support because we'll fucking tell them off for you.
Yeah, give us names. You want to give me a full goddamn name? I'll shout it out on there.
Take that shit in our Facebook page.
Because again, don't be a racist.
So, speaking of Facebook, don't forget, we're on Facebook. Follow our social medias. If you are listening to this versus watching this, if you're listening, hey, we have a YouTube page.
And it's not just for Patreon.
And if you're watching and you want to listen to all the other episodes previous to when we hit the video.
Well, you're like driving and you shouldn't be on video anyway.
Don't forget, we're on Spotify, Apple iTunes, Google Play Music,
Stitcher,
and all your other favorite
anywhere you can find us. Last but not least, Patreon. Get after us, you guys. I need a new mic stand. No, I'm just kidding. But we want to keep this going so hard.
If you like what you hear, subscribe. Donate.
Rate and review on iTunes as
Always
well.
Rate and review.
Yep, we really do could use those. I've had quite a few people subscribe in the last few days. We have, I should say, so we want to give big thanks to those.
Yeah, the YouTube page is new and we're doing not so bad. So keep sharing it though. Subscribe, share, tell your friends, and comment if you guys want to hear something, if you want to further chat on it.
You have some inputs.
We'll cover it. So
be warned, negative comments of any kind will be fully belittled on air and I will out you to the whole world. So
and we're not ashamed. All right, guys. We love you.
Cheers.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.